Now, if you've ever been given a car parking fine you felt was unfair, well, you might be right. The BBC has learned some councils in England have been earning hundreds of thousands of pounds by enforcing fines which they know are unlawful. The Department for Transport says the council should consider contacting motorists who've been wrongly fined.
Signs, lines and fines. Daily headaches that we've grown to accept. But who's breaking the law? The motorists or the local authority? Take a look at this box junction in London. The box covers both sides of the road rather than just one. That's unlawful. Or these parking spaces at Fleet in Hampshire. They're painted too small. Also unlawful. A bus and tram lane in Sheffield. It isn't fully marked, but the council's collected more than £350,000 in fines. And a pedestrianised street. Adjudicators have ruled that the signs aren't clear, but the drivers have been fined £250,000. Paul Pearson is a campaigner for fairer parking. Many of the restrictions that make him see red lie yards from his office.
It's impossible to turn left without going into this bus lane. Basically, this whole business makes my blood boil. I think it's disgraceful that they can rake in tens and tens of millions of pounds a year, often from fines from silly minor transgressions of the rules, or in this case, perhaps where they shouldn't have issued a fine in the first place.
Motorists who've paid up and now feel they've been treated unjustly may have some difficulty in getting a fine repaid. The local government association says the cash is reinvested in the transport infrastructure. Some councils told us that paying up is an admission of guilt, even if others were at fault.
Where no one was genuinely misled, the council then can take an argument that says, is it a good use of public money to repay penalty? Is that really what we should be doing?
And what of central government? Well, the Department for Transport told us local authorities need to make sure they operate reasonably and within the law. Every case is different, but we'd expect councils to seriously consider contacting motorists who may have been wrongly issued with a penalty charge notice. But be warned, joining battle over that ticket may test your patience and your determination to the limits.
Now, as you might imagine, it's got you all going on the email and the text. Tom in Stockport says councils who unlawfully issue parking fines should be taken to court themselves and fined. Then they should be made to pay back the fines with compound interest.
Well, PJ in Leeds has contacted us to say recently my husband parked on the roadside where he's close to his work. He's parked there many times before with no problems, no restrictions, no road markings. Well, he returned later to find that cones had been placed all down the street and every car parked there had been ticketed. Despite contesting, because we couldn't prove that the cones had been placed there after he'd parked, we still had to pay the fine.
Joanna Jones from Twickenham says if the fines are unlawful, then they're unlawful and obviously they should be repaid. She asked the question, why should councils be above the law?